Hey YouTube fans, it's me, the Storyman. Welcome back to my latest video. Today I'm making it's a new story from the Chat GPT, which I call The Little Paladin. I like that one, The Little Paladin. So remember fans, like, subscribe, and comment down in the comment section below. Like my videos, okay? It's a pretty hot day today. Well, even though I guess it's summer, but it's really hot out here. Oh wow, it's really hot. But don't worry, we're heading for the rainy season, so it'll be cold soon. Let's see. But let's start with the story, shall we? Oh, and remember, the story was made by Chat GPT, but the voice acting, dramatic flair, ad-libbing, story, narration are all done by this man, this real live human being, for which I call myself the Storyman. Let us read, shall we? Let's begin. Long before kings carved their banners into stone, and before dragons learned to fear the sound of church bells, the world was ruled by creatures much larger than a mouse. In a quiet wheat field at the edge of an ancient kingdom lived a field mouse named, let's change this one, Marius. That's a nice name. Marius the mouse. Marius was not brave. He was not strong. He was not clever enough to steal grain from traps like the other mice. Yep, that's our protagonist, the main character, Marius the mouse. His greatest talent was running away. Well, of course, he is a mouse. You do run. When hawks circled overhead, Pip hid. I mean, not Pip, I meant Marius, sorry. Marius. When foxes prowled the grass, Marius hid. When storms rolled across the plains, Marius hid. And because he spent so much time hiding, he noticed things no one else did. Oh, I guess all that time hiding really helps build your perspective. When you see hawks, mice ran away, which is of course a very normal response, but he hid much more than mice usually do. He would notice wounded people struggling after rainstorms. I can imagine though, rain is very dangerous to insects. These things can drown you, and you're dead in seconds. I can imagine being hit by rain the size of a car. Oh Lord, you would drown instantly. I feel sorry for them actually. He noticed birds with broken wings abandoned by their flocks. He noticed lonely creatures that larger animals ignored. Oh, that's pretty sad though. Whenever he found one, Marius would bring crumbs, seed, or water. A noble soul. And see what he's becoming that. He never expected thanks. He simply hated seeing things suffer. Now, that's a kind-hearted mouse. One winter evening, as snow swallowed the fields, Pip discovered an old traveler collapsed beside a frozen road. I can imagine the road frozen. Especially being this small, Lord, that would be lethal. The traveler looked like a ragged old woman. Most creatures would have left her. Fair point though, animals wouldn't care much. It's not their problem. A mouse could barely help himself, much less someone 100 times larger. But Marius spent the entire night dragging wheat kernels to her shelter and gathered bits of straw for warmth. Now that's a noble soul. By dawn, he had nearly frozen, of course. Especially in a snowstorm. Good God, he'd be dead by now. But he was strong. Marius wasn't so easy to kill. That old woman opened his eyes, surprised to see a little mouse saved him, despite freezing to death and still helping. He said this. Why? She asked. Then shivered. Because you look old. And what about you? I am not so easy frozen. I am much stronger. The woman just smiled. Then the world changed. The snow stopped falling. The sky turned gold. The traveler rose, shedding her disguise like a cloak. Before Marius stood the radiant one, the ancient spirit of mercy whom humans had worshipped for centuries. Marius was surprised to see an ancient spirit appear before him, a mere tiny mouse, an insignificant creature that was considered less by everything and eaten by all. To be shown kindness, but then again, Marius was no ordinary mouse. This mouse was very strong. He was tough. He was noble. Something that the ancient spirit of mercy had seen in him. Something special indeed. Let us see. Her light filled the frozen field. You expected no reward, she said. You helped when you were afraid. You gave when you had almost nothing. Impressive. The spirit of mercy saw the nobility and innate kindness within Marius. He was strong, noble, and he was giving up everything despite having so little and almost nothing to give. Pip said this. His knees then trembled. I just did what seemed right. The spirit laughed softly. Then you understand holiness better than most priests. She touched his forehead like this. A spark of golden fire entered him. The wheat bent in every direction as divine power surged across the plains. Thus Marius became the world's first holy paladin, the first mouse who ever attained it. This was the beginning of his legend, the first mouse paladin, a holy one at that, with divine energy at disposal, especially of his size. That is impressive. At first, no one took him seriously. Nice laugh! Wizards laugh. Even other mice laugh. Oh Lord, everyone laughed at him. He was the first ever, and they thought he was silly. They saw him, whoa, what is this, a mouse? Wearing armor? He looks so weird wearing it. What is this? I can imagine that's all the mice say. A paladin was supposed to ride a horse. Marius could barely climb one. A paladin was supposed to wield a sword. Marius could barely lift this sewing needle. But divine power had never cared much for appearances. It never did. No matter what you are, you have to prove your worth, despite your size. No matter what gender, species, or what you are. Man, woman, child, animal, cat, dog, or mice. You must never be afraid to fight what you believe in, despite what you are. And that's what makes you truly a hero and a knight. You fight what you believe in despite your circumstances, despite what you are, despite the societal norms, despite of everything. This is proof of that. When wolves attacked the village, Marius stood before them. The villagers expected to be lunch. Oh no, is this our protector? That mouse will be eaten alive. That mouse is it? This is it? This is a joke? That's what they all say. They imagine this was it? This was what they were given? Lord, they look like losers. Instead, golden light erupted around the tiny mouse. The wounded village behind him felt their broken bones mend. It seems this mouse paladin had learned holy magic and the holy light. The wolves halted as if struck by invisible thunder. Marius raised a grain stalk like a lance. Please sleep, he squeaked, with a very strong and stern mourning. He is prepared to fight despite his size. He ain't scared. He ain't afraid. He fought for what he believed in. He was afraid to die. Now that is will. Then the wolves fled. They knew what they were up against. They couldn't fight something that is completely absurd. A mouse wielding divine power, and a powerful one at that. The wolves were stunned. They didn't know what to do, so they ran away. News had spread of his heroism. He had become something of a legend. Soon, stories appeared everywhere. The mouse of light, the tiny knight, the golden whisker. Those are pretty nice though, but I like the little paladin better. People came seeking miracles. Marius healed the sick, protected travelers, blessed crops during droughts. I can imagine that little mouse doing the sign of the cross, blessing it with his holy magic and restoring everything. Now that could be kind of weird and impressive to behold. Also very puny, but still good. Yet his greatest challenge arrived many years later, deep, deep beneath the mountains, and ancient darkness awaited. Of course. If something pure of light came to be, something dark had to balance it out. And unfortunately, this was it. A monster dragon named Malgarath emerged from the earth. Entire armies failed to stop it. Cities burned. Castles fell. Even the greatest champions perished. A I'm afraid so. I can imagine being killed by a dragon is no joke. You get burned alive, cooked. Oof. I've seen a lot of comics, and even in modern comics that involve dragons, they burn you alive, and it's not fun. The kings gathered every hero in the world. Among towering warriors and legendary sorcerers stood Marius, older now, with silver whiskers and scarred ears. Of course, years of fighting as a paladin leaves you with body wounds and makes you old. Remember, never estimate a knight or paladin that has reached old age. Those guys have skills that you cannot comprehend, and they can kill you easy. That makes them very strong and powerful warriors, especially coming at that age is impressive. As we know, knights back then died pretty young. If they survive up to 60, that is considered a miracle. That's already the realm of heroes. The heroes argued endlessly of what to do. How to kill a dragon, but nothing could kill it. And as some legends say, that dragons are impervious to magic. This could be bad. But there was one who gave a good answer. One little person. Marius listened. Finally, he asked the question that caused the sorcerers and all the knights and the king to be stunned. And this is the question. Has anyone tried talking to the dragon? The room went silent. They were stunned. This was the legendary hero's answer? Really? And one knight laughed. They were just like, what? The dragon had destroyed half the continent. Why would anyone talk to it? That's a good point, though. They wondered why would they talk with the very being that destroyed so much of their land, killed so many people, burned their homes, destroyed many castles and civilizations. Yet Marius traveled alone to the mountain. Of course, no one believed him, so he decided to do it himself. When he reached Malgorat's lair, the dragon's eye alone was larger than a house. Oh Lord, now that could be scary. To see it bigger than your house? God help you. God help you. You are very small, grumbled the dragon. Everyone kept mentioning that, Marius replied. The dragon blinked. No one's ever spoken to him like that in centuries. Fair point, the dragon was fascinated. He had never seen a knight, let alone a paladin, but even more so, a mouse that's a holy paladin wielding divine power. The dragon was stunned, but also intrigued. He decided to talk with Marius. He has never seen a mouse paladin in his life, probably the first ever. So I guess he was honored to meet something of this caliber. So they talked. Indeed, for hours, then days. Marius eventually learned the truth. Malgorat wasn't destroying the world because he hated it. He was destroying it because he believed the world hated him. Fair point though. When you're a dragon, you're seen as a challenge, something they don't understand, and they decide to kill it. You grab swords. They try to kill you. I can't blame Malgorat for being like that, being attacked. The first people that met him, they all want to kill him. I can imagine they're like, what? Okay, see, and this is the reason. For thousands of years, people had hunted him, feared him, attacked him on sight. His rage had grown until it consumed everything. But Marius, ever the kind, humble, and considerate paladin he is, just listened. He listened to his whole story without moving a muscle. He just listened intently. Then he did something no warrior had ever done. He forgave him. Forgiveness is the greatest weapon. And if a dragon, despite murdering everything, said that to him, would be impressed. He felt warm. He felt kind. But because of this. Not because the dragon deserved it. That's not the reason. He did too much. Not because his crimes were small. That's too much. They're too enormous. He had killed thousands. This was the reason. But because hatred had already caused enough suffering. Indeed. A lot of crimes in the world, corruption have been caused by hate. And a lot of people died because of that hatred. Far too many innocent people were destroyed by hate. We had seen the history books how that hate reached the Second World War, and it caused a lot of people pain. The dragon wept. The tears carved rivers through the mountain. No one's ever That was impressive. Divine light filled the sky. He had gave the dragon the very thing it desired. Forgiveness. It was happy. It finally gained something it never had. The radiant one appeared once more. You have learned the final lesson, she told Paris. True strength is not defeating your enemies. It is giving them a path to become something better. Indeed. Indeed. This was the first time they actually made the dragon feel this way, to feel compassion, to feel love. This dragon was moved to tears. And indeed, you know that true strength is not just beating the enemy. It's showing them a better path, something better. Showing there's other things in life. There's more to than what they are now. They can be more. The darkness had left Malgarat's heart. The war ended without a battle. Not one shed of blood. No. And so history remembered Maris not merely as the first holy paladin, but as the greatest one of them all. The first holy mouse paladin. The first of his kind. And not the last. When he finally died, the legends say every church bell rang on its own, ringing, mourning the loss of its first mouse paladin that ever lived. And probably there might be others. Maybe. They never did. The winds bowed in the wind. They all bowed in respect to the lost one. And somewhere beyond the moor world, the radiant one welcomed the tiny mouse, whose courage had never come from strength. A statue was raised in every kingdom. It showed no mighty warrior, no shining king, no dragon slayer. Only a small field mouse holding a grain stalk with a sword. The first of its kind to ever beat a dragon with compassion. Now that is an amazing feat. Many people can claim if many dragon slayers beat a dragon because they killed it, but to defeat it is through compassion and love. That is the most impressive of them all. But these words inscribed his legend, and let me read. Inscribed beneath were the words: the size of a hero is measured by not their body, but by the amount of kindness they carry when they are afraid. True bravery comes from being afraid. You're afraid, but you still did it anyway. That's true bravery, and you know you do the right thing. And that's what made Marius the first mouse paladin. First holy mouse paladin. And that's the story. Thank you for watching my video. This is the Story Man signing out. So remember folks, like my videos, subscribe to my channel, and please leave your comments down in the comment section below. Remember, hit that like button to like the video down below. Subscribe to my channel, hit that bell to get the notification from me and get videos from me. Comment down in the comment section below down there on what kind of story you want me to make, and I will make it. You give me any requests, what kind of story you want me to make, and I will make it. And I will give it as much life as I can with the Chat GPT. The story was made by Chat GPT, but the human who gave the sounds, the voice, the narration, the emotions, the dramatic flair, that's me, the Story Man. Remember, the story is made by Chat GPT, but the voice acting, dramatic flair, storytelling, narration, and ad-libbing were done by a real-life human being, for which I call myself the bookman. The story man, sorry, the story. If you do all that, this thumb will bring you to the end with a thumbs up. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, and this thumb will bring you to the end with a thumbs up. Thank you, and goodbye. Goodbye, 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 bye.